and I'm going to back lead my eyelids, and I'm going to fall asleep. And they've really kicked on after their spawn, and they're getting their head down. They're just eating. Right, well, welcome back to another video. Call me crazy. I mean, you ain't got to call me crazy. I'll call myself crazy. I've just finished a 12-hour night shift. I've gone home, I've got my rods, and I'm down the lake. I'm knackered, so I'm really sorry if I can't bring you any energy. I probably look like death because I just need to sleep. But my cousin's down here, and he's got the day off work, and he said to me, look, I'm off this week. And yes, I've just finished a night shift. He said, but last time we fished here, I had to wait 12 hours for a bite. He said, so chuck your rods out, get in your chair, get a bit of kip, and hopefully we can nick a fish. And then, like he said, I'm off this week anyway, but it is going to be a struggle this session. It really is. The fish, we're at the secret lake. The fish have just finished spawning on here, like a matter of days ago. So it's going to be, the lake's just reopened. It's going to be a real tough session, but hopefully, I don't know, hopefully we can pick one or two up. Would be nice. It is quite a hard lake to fish, but this is the fish. It's a hard lake to... This is what I mean. I've just finished a 12-hour night shift. I can't function. This lake is a lake that we've got wagers on the fish. You've got the joker that we put a £100 wager on, and the big fully that we put a £50 wager on. So if I do catch one of them, this will all be worth it. Anyway, the sun's shining. I'm knackered. It's time to get out there, get set up. And Jordan's fishing peg 1, and he's parked his car outside peg 3. And I'm fishing in peg 3, which means I've now got to park in peg 1 and lob my gear around to it. Oh, I can't be arsed. Even though I've not got long on this lake, because what's the time now? 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to be off about 3 or 4 o'clock. So I don't have the longest. It's just a simple short day session. Not even that. I'd call it shorter than a day session. But yeah, even still, I'm going to spend a little bit of time, because this lake isn't as easy as just chucking out a rod and hoping. I'm going to spend a little bit of time just watching the water, keeping my eyes peeled, and seeing for signs of anything moving. Right, so here's a wide angle shot of my swim. There's so many options in this swim, it's unbelievable. I haven't fished this part of the lake before, so it's very, very new to me. I'm not going to start crashing a lead about. There's a lot of bubbles coming up. There's some bubbles coming up, sort of like, there's an island here, and there's an island here, and there's like a channel that runs up, round to the right, round to the left. And towards over that far side, I don't know if you can see, let me zoom in a little bit, where the brown overhang is, probably about 3 rod lengths back, I just saw some bubbles coming up. I've also seen some bubbles coming up slightly to the right hand side as well. I also really like the look of these pads here. The next swim is the other side of that tree, so this is all my water. I've got so many options here. There's more bubbles coming up over the back there. I'm gonna have to put a rod in over there. It'd be silly not to. It's a super silty lake, so it could just be air pockets. Jordan's in the first swim over there. You can't see him, I don't know where he's gone, but see where that wooden sort of beam is? That's the first swim. And then you've got his dad, Rich, who's in the swim to the left of me. You can't see him from here, but he was the guy, actually. I got some comments on my last video at Wadmill. He's my uncle, so he was the guy that there was a shot where I was filming and he was in the background. Let's just say he was watering the plants. But yeah, quite a funny clip that. I couldn't edit that out, unfortunately, but yeah, that's quite funny. But yeah, just keeping my eyes peeled on this water. And because I'm not going to be chucking a lead out and feeling the bottom, trying to find hard spots, I could do that. If I'm going to be here for a period of time, I would do that. But like I've said before, you know, even in last week's video, when I'm only here for a short amount of time, the last thing I want to do is start scaring the fish. So, especially when I'm fishing here, I've not fished this area of the lake before. I mean, you learn as you go, don't you, right? So I'm telling you now, 100%, I will be back here on this swim because I love it, and I will be chucking a lead about. But for the time being, I'm just going to spend a little bit of time watching the lilies, watching the reeds, seeing for bubbles, and just trying to use every bit of watercraft that I've learned to try and find something. Well, I was watching the water and I was seeing bubbles, just not specifically in one spot, but just out in that middle between where that channel runs through. There was loads of bubbles, you know, and I was saying it might have been air gaps in the silt, but then there was some coming up here, some coming up here. Then there was a couple of flashes in the, nothing big, but a couple of flashes on the surface, and I thought, looks like there's fish out there. So I wasted no time and I just chucked a solid bag with a Parker Baits mini mix in. It's got fruit and nut magic dust and fruit and nut flat spot in it as well. I'm using a bit of fake corn on a hook bait, nice bright colour, and it's gone out straight over towards where I was saying earlier about that brown patch over there. Very happy with where it is, and I wouldn't be surprised if that goes off, because it looks like there's a lot of fish activity out there. I don't like it when I say that, because I feel like there's pressure now. Now I've said that I think there's fish out there, if I don't catch, it makes me look like a wally, but I can only go by what I'm seeing. And yeah, I'm pretty tired from my night shift, but I'm sure there's fish out there. And I just spoke to the bailiff, actually, just come along to say hi. Oh, that's wind. Just got an indication, that's wind. Yeah, Stu just come along to say hi. And he said it's been fishing its nuts off over the weekend, so that's a very positive sign. It's, like I said, it's Monday today, although still for me it feels like Sunday, because it's weird. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, if it's been fishing its nuts off over the weekend, let's hope that long may that continue. Come on, the carp. Well, there we go, we got Billy with us. Hello, Billy. You gonna save me the blank? You better do. You got to work your magic on this lake, mate. But yeah, I haven't wrapped up or nothing. I've literally just chucked that one out to where I saw signs of fish, and I've just been sat here waiting for it to go, really. I haven't backloaded it, which is stopping me from putting another rod out, because we've got a 2-rod limit in this lake, so that's absolutely fine, no issue whatsoever. But obviously with that line not being backloaded, running right across the middle of the swim, I'm not going to put another rod out yet. What I might do is I'm going to give it another, I'll probably give it half an hour, and then once, if I've had nothing in half an hour, I'll either, no, I probably won't even reel it in. I'll sort out a back lead and I'll get another rod back out on another spot. So I'll have 2 rods out, but that one's going to stay there because there's no other place I want it in this swim right now than where it is. And I did speak to the bailiff about zigs. I said, you know, because he said obviously it's been fishing its nuts off over the weekend. I said obviously with the warm weather, have they been feeding up the top, up on the surface? And he said no. He said a lot of them are being caught on the bottom. They're feeding because the spawn has actually made them, like, they've finished their spawning and they've really kicked on after their spawn, and they're getting their head down. They're just eating. Would you believe it? I've saved a blank. It's not a carp, but it's not a bream. I'm well happy with that. Well, there I was talking to the camera, and I got a live take, and it's not big, but it's a nice little tench. Look at that. Well, we finished work at 7. We got to the lake at 7:30, and we got a fish in the net by 8 o'clock. Here it is. Like I say, nothing big, little small tench, but it's a great way to start, and it saves the blank. Brilliant. More of that, please. And there she goes. Thank you very much. Right, what an absolute mess I'm in here. This is how quickly I was in a rush to get the rod out. But hey, how's that for watercraft? I've come down, I've seen where the fish are, chucked a bag out, and it must have been out for no more than 10 minutes. And boom, there's a fish. Now we want a carp. Right, well I am on my chair now. I've sent the rod back out, same spot. Well, again, I haven't wrapped up, I haven't clipped up, so I've just chucked it. I'm just chucking it to roughly the same spot. I mean, there was a lot of fish coming up, feeding there anyway, a lot of bubbles coming up. And I think like it's prime time for the tench, isn't it? The sun hasn't quite hit the lake where that tench picked the bait up yet. And obviously the morning is like when the tench are going to feed more, like sort of midday when the sun's beaming on the lake. The tench sort of hide away a little bit. In the mornings they're a little bit more prolific, so I mean I wouldn't mind another one of them if it was a little bit bigger. But yeah, I've sent it back out again. I'm going to tie this, I'm going to dry off this rig and tie another bag up with this rig. And then yeah, in the meantime I'm going to wait for that left hand, well I say left hand rod, the only rod that's out. I'm going to wait for that to go off again. And then like I say, I'm probably still going to give it another half an hour or so. I'm not going to put another rod out whilst that one's doing fish. I'm going to give it half an hour, and if it hasn't gone off in half an hour, I will get another rod out. But if I do catch another one, I'm just gonna keep using this one rod because I don't want to disturb things. I don't want to distract anything. I just want to keep it. If I'm catching, I'm going to stick with what I'm doing. But yeah, I don't know if that was just a one-off tench. Hopefully it goes off again. But yeah, it was brilliant to get a live take. I've been saying I wanted to get a live take for ages, not been able to film it. And if you're wondering, because it does look funny. When I hit it, I'm playing it like a shark, but the reason for that is because there's a canal. I've shown you guys my swim. There's a canal to the right around the back of the island. There's a canal to the left around the back of that island. And if I hook a big carp and it goes around one of them back of the islands, I'm in a lot of trouble. Now, if you haven't seen the last time I was on here, go and check it out because, yeah, that was a complete mess. And basically, I didn't get to my rod quick enough and it done me in a snag. I'm not letting that happen again. So even though I did it like a shark, if it was the joker, the big carp in here, I'm not letting it do me. So I've got to be quick on it. I've got to try and get them in front of me as quickly as I can and just try and keep them this side of the island. So yeah, if I'd known it was a small tench, I wouldn't have played it like that, but you don't know, do you? Guess who's just had a little beep on the right hand rod? Do, 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 do. I don't actually know if I've told you yet. I've got my right hand rod out. So it's been probably about, well, I said I'd give it half an hour. If nothing happened on a left-hand rod, I'd get the other rod out. So it's been about half an hour. That rod's been out for about 10 minutes. So yeah, probably about, wow, 45 minutes in total. So yeah, that rod's been out. I don't know what I'm talking about. I've got the right hand. I didn't have anything on my left hand rod for about half an hour, so I thought I'll get the right hand rod out. I've got that out. It's been out for about 10 minutes and it's just had a little beep. It's basically, I was deciding whether to fish towards those lilies, but I did see a little bit of action by that bit of green reed stem sticking up there, so I've actually chucked mine half a rod length in that sort of gap there. It's got a back lid on it and the back lid is straight under the rod tip, so there shouldn't be any problems with line or anything in the way if that does go. The only thing is the left hand rod, I haven't back leaded that, so if the right hand rod does go, I'm gonna have to try and keep it away from that. I might stick a back lead on that left hand one right now actually. And there we go, both rods are now back leaded, and I'm gonna sit in my chair and I'm gonna back lead my eyelids and I'm gonna fall asleep and I'm literally gonna sit here, close my eyes, and wait for a bite. Right, quick update. I just had an absolute screaming run on the right hand rod. I lifted up and there was nothing there, so I don't know whether it managed to spit the hook out or whether it was it can't be a liner, can it, if it's pinned against the deck? Don't know. Interesting. It was going doo doo doo. I've picked it up, like I wasn't a million miles away from it. I've picked it up and yeah, I don't know, there's nothing there unless I've just pulled the hook out of its mouth. I didn't feel any resistance or anything, but yeah, that was on the fake corn again. Let's get another bag back out. I was trying to get to sleep on my chair and I just couldn't get comfortable, and I was like, like trying to get a good position, and then a bit of wind would come and I'd get really cold and I'd be like, need to go and get a jumper, because in Jordan's swim and Richard's swim they've actually got a lot of sun, but it's quite chilly where I am in the shade here. But at least I'm not going to get sunburnt. But I thought to myself, I really want to try and get a couple of hours kip, and I'm a bit cold, what can I do? I forgot I had my sleep system in my car, so I've just gone and got it. Look at this. Hey, I can lay in that now. It's going to be warm and I'm going to be able to get some sleep. Perfect. Oh, there we go. I can't complain now, can I? I'm in my element now. But what I have done is I've set an alarm. I could sleep. If I don't get a bite, this whole video could be over on in the next clip. I've set an alarm for 3:10. I've got a delivery coming at 4:30, so it gives me an hour to pack down and get home. And then, after 4:30, I've got to go out. I'm out tonight, so there you go. What time is it now? It's 10 o'clock now, or just coming up to 10 o'clock, so I've got 5 hours. So, like I said, the next clip is either gonna be me ending the video, waking up and ending the video, or hopefully with a carp. If it's not with a carp and it is the end of the video, it's gonna be a blooming short video. I'm just going to sleep. I could put a time lapse of me just sleeping. That's a bit strange, isn't it? Maybe not. Well, I've woken up from my slumber and I feel worse than what I did before I went to sleep. I don't really know why the rods have been so motionless. I am absolutely cream crackered. I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm not alive. Is that weird? That is weird. Just trying to explain how I feel. Weird. Yeah, don't know. I feel like I'm just existing. I mean, I am existing. This is getting weird, but yeah, no, I don't know. Before I went to sleep, I had like 2, not runs, but 2 like little knocks on my rod, and I was just about to drift off to sleep, and it was like, good, and I was like, ooh. But they were just like little single beeps. But really, honestly, nothing to report. Now, if I could pick the perfect weather for carp fishing, like in terms of warmth, it's this. Sun is just breaking through, 22 degrees. Oh, it's just perfect amount of wind. Not even wind, it's like a breeze. Beautiful. Oh, morning. Well, the sun has woke me up. It is very, very warm now. It's come through, the sun's come round, and where it was shady and cold earlier, it's now very, very warm. Look at the ducks. And I can safely say I'm never doing this again. I am absolutely, I feel like I've been like, I don't know, just like, I don't know. I've got nothing left. Now, it's good, to be fair, like, as knackered as I am, sorry to go on about it. Have I told you? I worked nights last night. I haven't been asleep yet. I have. I've had some broken sleep. I've probably had a total of like 2.5, 3 hours. Oh, look at the chicks. They probably want to try and get up there with the other ducks, but they can't because they're too little. Oh, that's a hell of a walk. Look at that. Hee hee. Come on, give us a moonwalk. Oh look, there's a little duck stuck in a cage. Wait, can he get out? Ah, they can go through that's fine. Come on, Jacko, let's see you do the moonwalk again. I think he's got a dodgy leg. Well, Jordan's just messaged me. Well, just messaged me. I've woken up to a message from Jordan saying, you'll never guess what I've caught. And I'm like, what is it? Like, I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I thought it ain't going to be a big fish because he wouldn't put it like that. He wouldn't word it like that. I know him. So I was like, what did I say? When he asked me what he caught, I was like, he was like, you'll never guess. And I was like, I don't know, perch, because can't imagine a perch is going to be taking boilies. He was like, nah. What else did I say? Grass carp. No. All right. What is it then? Eel. He just had an eel. I was like, did you get any video footage of it? He was like, nah, because as I was reeling it in, it came off. So I would have shown you, but I can't. So, oh, I'm super duper hot. But I think this is going to be all that this video has to offer, which is annoying. The last few sessions I've had, actually, I have struggled. So ever since like the St. John's video, I guess, like since spawning and stuff, like I've just not had the greatest sessions, have I? So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, in the next couple of videos going forward, things start to change and I can catch a few decent carp. I've got some good sessions booked in coming up, and yeah, I really appreciate people when, I really appreciate you guys when you watch these videos when I'm struggling, when I'm not catching many fish. It really does mean a lot, because it is all part of the, like I said before, it's all part of the journey, all part of the adventure, and all part of my sort of story, I guess. I could quite easily just delete all these files and not upload this video, but it's a fishing video. You guys love seeing the fishing videos, so I'm bringing it to you. And I haven't blanked, caught a tench. To be honest with you, when I caught that tench 10 minutes of being here, I thought we were going to have a decent session, but hasn't worked out like that. Still got about half an hour, 45 minutes to go. Well, I think that is a wrap. Old Michael Duxon's back. But yeah, I'm going to slowly start bringing the rods in, guys, one at a time. Like I always say, leave them till lastminute.com. So I'm going to pack everything else away. The bed chair's already gone. But yeah, I'll start putting everything else away. I mean, listen, I could have done a little bit more. The plan was to get a couple of spods out on top of my spot. So send the PVA bag out and then a couple of spods over the top. I could have done that, you know, especially an hour, 2 hours in, when I had that tension, and maybe like an hour later, I could have put a couple of spods in, corn, boilies, just to try and get a few fish in the spot. But let's face it, I was absolutely wiped out, and I just crashed, fell asleep, and I just thought, I'm gonna sleep. If the rods go, they go. If they don't, they don't. So this is like almost like a little bit of a bonus video, a little bit of a bonus session. This was never planned. It was literally like I finished work and Jordan was like, get down the lake. So that's what's happened. So yeah, a little bonus video for you. So if anything you can take away from this, I've caught a little bonus tench. A little bonus tench for you. There you go. Well, this could explain something. I've just reeled in my left-hand rod and I've picked up someone else's line. Look at this. It's red for starters. I don't know why. It looks really, really thick. But it was obviously fishing on the same spot as I was on. Let me pull this up. Guys, if ever this happens to you, make sure you get all the line out and anything that might be attached to it. Because it's just clogging up the lake bed. Look, it's got a twig attached to it and some more line. Look. Oh wow, I've picked up another line. And another rig. And I've still got this one, which is attached to nothing. So there we go. I've picked up 2 other lines there, look. That's obviously a spot that people... I always find that really weird though, like, make sure you take that home with you and bin it as well. But yeah, I always find that really strange and really weird that, like, you've got the whole of the lake, and where you cast to is where somebody's lost the rig, and you end up pulling it in. Oh, look at that. There's a little crabbing weight on there. But yeah, look, it's just that on the bottom is not good for the fish. It's not good for anything really, is it? So make sure I chuck that away. Well, I'm all packed away. I'm in Richard's swim. Jules is packed away as well. He's only got the same Crocs as me. Although I think they're slightly different because yours are like matte.
Yeah, I thought yours are green.
Nah, they're grey, but they're like, mine are like shiny, whereas yours are like matte.
I think Jordan's same but different. Matt Hayes, isn't it? Matt Hayes Crocs.
Rich, what do you want to say to the people that left feedback on the Wadmill video where you were watering the plants?
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, well done.
Well
It was to be fair, it was a really hot day and the plants needed watering. So
Yeah, it was a hot day and the plants needed watering, George.
Yeah, I thought the same.
How come the QE2 weren't out today in today's session?
Not allowed boats on the slope, mate.
Do you know why? There's a proper lake with proper rules.
Because they're ass.
Oh, tell us about what you caught today.
An eel.
And I can't put a picture up of it because you ain't got one.
No, I didn't want it in the net, so I shook it off. Thing.
Cheers, I've got to beat that out now.
Well, that's alright. Stupid things.
Oh dear.
Fucking hell.